What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 40K Cafe, and thank you M. Fayada for the request. The Dark Angels are one of the original 20 Space Marine legions that were created. In fact, they are the first legion of the Imperium. When they were first created and introduced, being the first legion, they had to be the best at everything. They were diverse and excelled at quite literally everything that they did. It was their obligation and their duty to be so. And mind you, this was all before they were reintroduced to their Primarch. Their gene seed comes from their Primarch Lionel Johnson, who found himself on the world of Caliban, which would later be their homeworld. This was a cruel and unforgiving feudal world, riddled with beasts that haunted its land until the Lion issued a crusade against them. That being said, once the Dark Angels were reunified with Lionel Johnson, he was quick to accept and pick up the mantle to crusade against the Star. The Legion, reunified with its Primarch, would continue their legacy on being exemplar legionnaires, upholding the duty and everything that came with it of what it meant to be part of the First Legion. They were outfitted with some of the best equipment the Imperium had to offer. Even the whole First Company was able to fully equip themselves with Terminator armor. And fast forward to the Great Crusade, Horus made it an effort to keep the Lion distracted and away from the Crusade for as long as possible to ensure that he couldn't bring his tactical acuity and skills to the battlefield. But this would not stop the Dark Angels at all. Even while separated from the main battlefield, he would still cripple the Night Lord, dealing a massive blow and even capturing their Primarch. The Dark Angels would also move on to destroy many of the homeworlds of the traitorous legions, and while making their way back to Terra, eliminate countless traitorous scum along their way. But greatness isn't the only thing that the Dark Angels were known for. Heresy was brewing underneath. The second in command of the Dark Angels, Sir Luther, the adopted father of Lionel Johnson, was returned to Caliban to bolster the troops. He felt neglected and left out of the war, and so began brewing a heretical uprising. While the troops were being bolstered on Caliban, they were being misled to believe that Lionel Johnson had forgotten about them. Some of them didn't even know exactly what was going on, only that they were to remain on Caliban until called upon. After the events of the Horus Heresy, the Dark Angels would return to Caliban, expecting their homeworld to welcome them with open arms. But instead, Luther would execute a traitorous plan and create a civil war amongst the Dark Angels. This would lead to the destruction of Caliban, the splintering of the Dark Angels with those known as the Fallen that sided with Luther, and those that are the Dark Angels that sided with the Lion, and not to mention the Lion falling into a coma and many believing that he disappeared. And this would remain the case for many millennia, and the Dark Angels would hunt down these so-called Fallen, believing that they should be expunged from the galaxy. But fast forwarding to current lore, the Lion has awakened and he has met with many of these so-called fallen kin. He has offered them forgiveness and redemption, dubbing them the Risen should they accept it. And he has given the Dark Angels new purpose to be unified once again and rise up against the traitorous scum that assails the Imperium. Throughout the Great Crusade, Horus Heresy, and even now, the Dark Angels are an exemplar legion / chapter that show exactly what it means to be the first. With that being said, M. Fayada, I hope you enjoyed this video and it filled the standards of your request. If not, drop a comment if there's anything you want to hear about next, and remember to follow for more.